What the heck is up there, fellas? Welcome back to our road to a 405 overhead press. I am going to attempt, I'm 9 weeks out from my planned first attempt at it. So we're going to see how it goes. I'm actually thinking about doing it from dead stop from the pins, like I showed in that first little clip of one of my warm-ups. Because I think it's important, like if you set a goal for yourself, and let's just say you're a hobbyist lifter, right? You don't compete, because competition is going to dictate the form standards. Even within that, you might have your own standards for yourself, which I think it's a cool way to go about it. I knew a guy who was like, well, I'm going to power lift, but I'm adamant. I only want a close grip bench, high bar squat, and conventional deadlift. I want like, even if I could have a better competitive result within the rules, I think that's cool. And I think, it's like playing a video game with like the non-meta build. It's a cool way to do it. And I was, after my contest, pressing, doing some pressing, getting back into the barbell. And I was like, all right, well, intuitively, if I'm treating this like a power lift, right? We're trying to, good technique isn't the way to bias a muscle. Good technique is the best way to move weight from A to B and distribute the demands and yada, yada, yada. Realistically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rebound it out of the bottom a little bit. I'm going to fall away and then I'm going to press through. I think it would look cooler if I'll start slightly behind the weight, but I would like to progress forward as it comes up rather than push and fall away. Just an aesthetic preference of mine. And I think that's something that's cool, right? Sometimes if you have a goal for yourself, it's better to define exactly how you would be most proud of doing it and train for a little extra long to do it that way. That way you don't have to have mixed feelings about the lift. And I also just thought doing it from pins would be cool because it would display really good starting power. So at least for the beginning of the training cycle, we're going to do that. We might even make it all the way through trying to do that. We're going to see how that goes. It's like the old Clarence Kennedy. He was like, people are like, oh, why don't you wear a belt? Why don't you wear knee sleeves? And he's like, well, I just didn't like how it looked. It didn't look like an athlete to me. It didn't fit my aesthetic, right? I think that's cool, right? We're all doing this as our own like individual process of building the machine we want to operate, our own fitness, right? And I think just defining shit you think is cool is a fantastic reason to do certain things. And I think it's going to look cooler. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Got a bunch of triples at 275 here with no supportive equipment. Going no supportive equipment for the first 4 weeks, just because I find on my bench press and my overhead press, I get good results from going no supportive equipment through the early phases of training blocks. I don't do the same on other lifts. It kind of varies lift by lift, but I do get good results on those two. Kind of other updates with what I'm doing with my training. I'm going to keep pushing my body weight upward. After my contest, I did the same thing I do after every contest, which is I upped my step count a bunch for the following week, dropped down just a little bit of the water weight I was kind of retaining to try to be big and strong for the show. I feel a lot better, a lot quicker. Just not carrying that extra weight around. I feel like I dissipate the fatigue that much quicker, not being a big fat fuck. But we're going right back to being a big fat fuck. Gonna push to, I might try to push to be the biggest I've ever been. I'm going to really push my cardio to make sure I'm going to be a little chonky, but I'm going to be in good cardiovascular shape. But I might push up towards the heaviest I've ever been because that maximizes my chance at the 405. And I'm also going to include some volume on muscles that I don't really like A to B with my goals, but to try to improve my physique a little bit, because once we're done with the road to 405, I'm going to do a quick little cut, try to get a little bit better in terms of the physique. So now is the time to try to fill in a little bit of those gaps in terms of the physique, come down, hopefully look a little better, because much to my dismay, that definitely helps with the YouTube. And if I want to keep pushing this as something that I could eventually provide more nice stuff for Kirsten, if being slightly more jacked, as long as it doesn't get in the way of my main goals of getting stronger, we'll do it. That's what we're doing. And then we're going to begin the road to an 800 squat. So that's kind of the plan. Just keep bulking up a little bit, include some extra volume to try to improve some gaps in the physique at the same time, get the 405 done, come down in body weight a little bit, get a little leaner than I've been in a few years, and then go straight into the big squatting side quest, which I'm quite excited about because I think it's going to do a lot of good things for lifts outside just my squat. Like everybody says, right? Squat tends to correlate with a lot of things. A lot of people, there's a reason it's got like this mythos of being like the true base lift. You're loading yourself from top to bottom with a progressive load. You're spending time stabilizing those loads. There's a lot of adaptation that happens outside just the legs that I think works really well for strongman and works really well for just being a strong dude. So I'm excited to get into that. All right, and we are back for a voiceover. Didn't really want to talk to the camera too much today. Been really enjoying pushing the pace of training a little bit in these early phases. I like to push the pace as much as that period of training allows without compromising my ability to do what I want to do or need to do on the main exercise. So if I can go faster and still complete my desired work at the desired quality, I do early. It's been really fun. You guys know I was itching to get back to like kind of full volume training, so I'm really just kind of enjoying it. That's a big reason I'm always in the gym either the day of the contest or the next day. That's kind of what it is for me to take a mental break, is just go in and have fun training. I'm a gym rat. I just like being in the gym, experimenting, doing new stuff. It makes it so I drop that post-contest fatigue a little bit slower, right? Like I've been coming into life a little bit slower than I would if I wasn't in the gym all this week. But I really enjoy it. And for me, it's worthwhile. I'm conscientious of lifting more limited weights, making sure I don't pick up an injury in that period after the contest. But happy to be back out there. Didn't really want to talk too much to the camera to interrupt that. And with that, I'm a little bit out of practice with turning the camera on and off. There were 8 triples there at 275 from the pins with no equipment. And then we moved on to these Smith overhead presses. There's like a fixed overhead bench, though I do scoop my butt forward. So it is realistically more of that high incline plane. These feel fantastic. It's kind of just a secondary volume builder. The goal was to do 3 sets to about RPE 7. I'd say I averaged probably about a 7, maybe one shy, but was pleased with the quality of the work. It's funny because I have that muted. It looks like I'm yelling. That is me yawning. Definitely because I'm letting the body come back to life a little slower because I'm insisting on training. My sleep quality is returning a little bit slower than it would otherwise. And that's going to be a big part of this push to be the biggest, strongest I've ever been. That's my rate limiter. I sleep poorly, so anything I can do to leverage that better, the better result I will get. And funnily enough, people often ask me, no, I don't have sleep apnea. I've had it tested, despite being up around the 265, 270 mark. That is yet to be an issue. Knock on wood, I'm very happy about that. That's awesome. But my sleep issues are more just kind of being always very kind of adrenaline up, very on that sympathetic side of that sympathetic parasympathetic, fight or flight versus rest and digest spectrum. My dad's kind of the same way. It comes with a lot of benefit where I think I can be really deep into a workout and keep pushing myself quite well because I just kind of always have that spark of adrenaline going, but it is terrible for sleeping. I wake up a bajillion times because of it. So that's going to be one thing I'm really looking to do a very good job of during this preparation for the 405 and just trying to get bigger and stronger. I had to take it really easy on the pull-ups today. Kind of already went past those because the 2 little, I wouldn't even call them injuries, but little soft tissue things I got from the meet is my right lat just feels a little bit off, and my right kind of brachialis feels a little bit off. So what I'm doing is I did 5 sets of 7 reps on the pull-ups. I'm just adding 1 rep a week until those get hard. And my intuition is that by the time that happens, I'll be kind of full green lights to push hard, start adding some weight to those again. But just taking a little bit more of a patient approach. Did those as a superset with the Smith presses, which felt fantastic. Had those, I'm trying a new exercise for my kind of overhead extension slot with those easy bar ones, starting with really high reps just to condition the elbows to a new position. That had my IYT raises and some pinch grip work. And that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you watching as always. Hopefully I'll film another training session or 2 this week just to give you guys something to watch while you eat your meals. Let's all get big and strong.